We have Emmanuel with us, Emmanuel and his wife Bianca and their little daughter Eliza. So they're going to come forward and we're going to give you a chance to hear from them as we have had a little opportunity to hear from each person who is a candidate. So Emmanuel, and your last name, how do you pronounce it?
Oglice.
Oglice.
Yeah, it's Romanian, so the CE is like Dolce.
Okay.
It's good to be here this morning. Just really, we got to say we're so glad to be here. God brought us back to Massachusetts. This is, in fact, our second time here, back in the state. And around April is when we moved back. And yes, we applied for Hope Church, but we like to believe that we found Hope Church. We started attending around May. And you guys have just been really personable and loving with us. And we really sense that God brought us here, and we found you guys and your pastor are a treasure to us. So glad to be back in Massachusetts and see how God has worked just by bringing us here. It's been a privilege to work with the kids this weekend, to meet your youth and your children. Just love to get to know them as well.
Good. And what about your family? Where'd you grow up? And
yeah, well, so we are Romanian. I'm second generation Romanian. I was born in Chicago, me and my sister. And God led us to live in different states like California, Indiana, and Tennessee, where I did grow up in Tennessee, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and also overseas.
Somehow you avoided that Tennessee accent.
Yes, I did. If you talk to my sister, she's basically lived in Tennessee and Georgia and is like a Southern belle. So she has that accent. That kind of got washed with me. But growing up in Tennessee in a small town in Chattanooga, but also going overseas as a missionary. My parents joined Precept Ministries International, and going overseas kind of gave me a world of small town, but also going to places like towns like Moscow, Chisinau, Budapest, Bucharest. So it was just a tremendous opportunity already as a young man to really see the world. Did baseball and soccer in school, but also got to experience a lot of different things. So maybe you guys have seen Chattanooga in the news, and there was some shootings happening down there. Well, when God places you in different spots, and you get to meet different people, you also get a sense of what He's doing. And I know a person who works with the father of the young man that did the shooting rampage. And I see God through that window of having lived in Chattanooga, knowing a person, and you can believe that my friend and other Christians are reaching out to that family. So God is trying to bring hope and healing even amidst tragedy, and tragedy through the perpetrator's family.
Okay. Will you tell us how you came to faith and a little bit about your spiritual journey, call to ministry, and what you've been doing in ministry life?
Sure. God, like I said, gave me early on a vision of the world, and I really do see this world as light and darkness. I really do see that this world and darkness, from an early age through now, that it wants to alienate and enslave. And light and the kingdom wants to embrace, wants to set free. So having been a part of a missionary life, I feel like God set apart my life, and I've been dedicated to teaching and sharing the gospel because the kingdom wants to embrace people through the way which is Jesus Christ. So we share about Jesus Christ, and as a family, my wife and I are dedicated to sharing the gospel to many different people, many different settings. We've had lots of camps where we've seen lots of people come to Christ. God's used me through mission work to also, in New Mexico, locally, help reach kids, over 800 a year, through the program called Angel Tree, kids that have family that are imprisoned. Okay, and so we're reaching them. We're reaching kids. While I was as a pastor, some of my ministry was to work on a youth ranch and to reach kids that way. I've had the opportunity to also work overseas and see kids that are in very difficult circumstances receiving hope, receiving the love of Christ. So God has used us in ways that we just didn't expect, like places in Afghanistan where we were able to set up ministry with widows and orphan children, and directly and indirectly, places like in Iraq where we were able to help families and children that fled Mosul. So that kind of experience of mission work is something that has been part of my life, sort of solidified as a call for me when I was 21, and graduated from seminary in 2004 at Gordon Conwell in Hamilton, Massachusetts, and have been in the church over 10 years now, dedicated to working with children, families, and adults.
Okay. So if we were to ask your best friend to give us a thumbnail sketch of your personality and your passions, what do you think he or she would say? I don't know. Who is your best friend? Is that her?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
It should be. Good answer.
Yeah, I would say my best friend would call me...
I mean, we could invite her up
yeah,
here. And
yeah.
So I asked the
Bianca,
question,
what do you think here? Dedicated, loyal, loving. As far as passion, very passionate because I'm interested in whatever I'm interested, I'm pretty passionate about. So I'm interested in young people. I dedicate myself to them. I will stick by and be loyal and loving. That's kind of, I think, how a best friend would see me, because they would see that in their life. And I haven't taken my wife to Hawaii yet, unfortunately, but I'm dedicated to one day doing that. And I'm so glad that
Bianca, you have a room full of witnesses.
Hope is throwing. I heard Hope was throwing in a Hawaii trip for the next associate pastor, right?
Well, feel free to keep praying, brother.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, we tried to go to Hawaii. Unfortunately, the story involves a sunken island and wild pigs.
Really?
So that,
Wow.
I'm not kidding about. You can ask the youth.
Stay after the church at the coffee
Okay.
stand right over there. We'll hear all about
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, one thing, interesting aspect about you, apart from ministry life, that you would want us to know about you.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, just right off the bat, simple truth, I like bread more than chocolate.
You like bread more than chocolate?
Absolutely. Give me a good piece of bread, and I'll take it over chocolate. Because I've traveled all over, I love to eat good food, and Romanians eat a lot of bread. And I have this kind of weird way of looking at the world through food. Like the best Thai food you can find in Sweden. The best Chinese food you'll find in France. The best pizza anywhere is in Brazil. And of all places, I found the best chili con carne in Germany on a menu. It was right between about 11 different kinds of schnitzels, and I picked it, and it was tremendous. It was the best I had ever had. So that's kind of an insight on me. And
all right,
yeah,
so we'll give you a loaf of bread and send you to Hawaii.
Okay,
Happy,
yes,
right?
I will be thrilled. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Tom.
Let me just pray for Emmanuel in this whole process as we seek the Lord. Father, we just want to say thank you for all that you're doing. We know that you have someone planned for us, and we ask that you would make your will known clearly to us. Would you guide us through, as a church, through this whole process of seeking who it is that you would have help us serve our youth and children and young adults. And God, we ask you to bring the right person and let this be manifestly evident that your hand is at work. So God, do this in such a way that we will give you all the glory, and that we would be confident that the person that you bring would be the one that you have chosen, and not we in our fleshly nature. So God, we humble ourselves before you. Ask your blessings upon Emmanuel and Bianca and Eliza, and they're seeking your will, and we thank you for all that you have done through them for the good of your kingdom. Through Christ I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, and as part of the ongoing process, Emmanuel is going to go downstairs with all of our kids, so we'll dismiss all of our kids, and he